Hello, this is nutritionist Harpreet Pasricha and welcome to Aditya Birla's Health Insurance Health from Home series. It's a quarantine period, it's a period where you all have to stay home, it's lockdown period. And we should stay home because that's the safest thing we can do right now and protect ourselves. Now you must be going out to buy your essentials, right? Like the vegetables, fruits or maybe milk. So what we can do is minimize the movement. So when we go next time outside, try and get the vegetables in bulk. Now you must be wondering, if I get in bulk, wouldn't it get spoiled? Yes, it will get spoiled in a period of 4 or 6 days. So what this series is all about is to tell you how to prolong or how to extend the shelf life of the vegetables. But before that, I'm going to talk about the hygiene. At this point, it's very, very important to take care of the hygiene. Actually, it should be taken care all the time, but at this particular time, when the coronavirus is at its peak, we need to make sure we do extra bit for the hygiene bit. Okay, so when you get the vegetables, so instead of directly getting them and storing them in the refrigerator or putting on your kitchen top, I would suggest that you do a nice cleanup of vegetables and then store it. Okay, for that what you need to do is take some water. Okay, there's already some water in the bowl, so put some water and put vinegar. So sirka, you all must be knowing what is vinegar, so put about 2 capfuls of vinegar into this, and then some salt. Now these things are very easily available at home, and take this and mix it nicely. So put your veggies like say tomatoes, okay, maybe carrot, I've already put carrot, cauliflower, maybe cabbage, beetroot into this water and keep it soaked for about 15 minutes. Yeah, so what will this do? One, if there is any kind of virus or live bacteria on it, it will take care of that. And two is, if there are even any pesticides into it, it will remove that too. So after it is done, you have to make sure that you dry it completely, because if you don't dry them, they'll get rotten. Moisture is not very, it's not very friendly with the vegetables. If there's moisture, it'll rotten it up. So nicely wipe it. You may dry it under the fan on the dining table, and then it's ready to use. Now few vegetables which you are going to use in say a week's time, you can store them directly in the refrigerator. But few of them which you want to keep for a longer period of time, we'll talk about that. So let's talk about our favorite aloo pyaz, that is your potatoes and onions. This is our staple in Indian kitchen. We all need this. And what you could do if you're going and buying say this in bulk 5 kilos or 10 kilos, so how you can extend the shelf life? First thing, the vegetable tray, the onion and basket, onion and potato basket, what you have, make sure that the onion and potatoes are kept separately. They should not be combinedly and kept. Why? Because potatoes, they release ethylene gas, okay, and that can rot in your onion. So make sure that it is kept in a separate shelves. Second thing, what onion and potatoes do not like is the direct light. So if you have kept your vegetable, this onion potato basket, near a window where there is a direct light coming from the kitchen, remove it from there and keep it in a cooler and a darker place. Okay. And two, it doesn't like is moisture. So make sure that the place where you have kept this onion and potato basket, it has no moisture, it's a dry area completely. Okay, so this is how you can store your onion and potato for a longer period of time. So if you've got 5 kilos of onions, now you know that you can last it for at least a month or 6 weeks. Now let's go to something which is helping our Indians to fight against most of the viruses, because these things, that is your garlic and ginger, have antimicrobial, they have antibacterial properties, and it is a must in all the kitchens, in the Indian kitchens. So the spices and the herbs what we use, whether it is haldi, it is jeera, rai, kari patta, lasun, adrak, they all help in building our immunity. So make sure that you are using all of these things. And if you happen to buy them in bulk, how you can store them, okay, is take this garlic. So if you have broken this garlic, say like this, if you have done this, then this will last you not more than week to 10 days. But if it is like an entire pot, what you can do is put in this kind of mesh bags. Okay, so if you put this in mesh bags and zip it up and keep it in your kitchen in a dry area where you've kept your onion and potato in that similar area. So this will last you easily for 6 weeks to even sometimes 8 weeks. Okay, so this is a quick tip for your ginger and for your garlic. And let's talk about ginger. Now ginger you can store up to 4 months. Yes, have you tried storing this? So you need to make sure that once you get the ginger, do not cut it. You just need to clean it up nicely because there's a lot of mud, it's a root. And then you have to nicely pack up in a plastic bag or maybe in a ziploc, something like this kind of bags. So just put it in a ziploc and keep it in the refrigerator, and it will last you for good about 4 months. So whenever you want to use, you will take out one part of it, use that for a week and let rest stay in the refrigerator. Okay, now in case you have kept a peeled garlic like this, okay, or a peeled ginger, so what you need to do here, you have to take this kitchen towel. This is a must if you want to do a storage of your any vegetables. So take this kind of small paper roll, which is your kitchen towel, and take this garlic which you have peeled, keep it under the sun so that it is well dried, or keep it under the fan, and just wrap it up like this. Okay, that's it, and put it in a ziploc and keep it in the refrigerator. So quick easy thing to do. Another thing you can do is you can roast the garlic. Yes, you can roast the garlic. Say take a big pan, like a thick bottom pan, and roast it for 5 to 7 minutes. Once you've roasted this for 5 to 7 minutes, then cool it down under the fan and put it directly in a ziploc and keep it in the freezer, and it will last you for about say 3 months. Okay, similarly, if you have peeled the ginger by any chance and kept it, you have to make sure it's dry. Okay, there is no moisture, there is no water, so use this napkin again. You dab it nicely, remove the entire moisture. Then you need to take a ziploc, put this in this and keep it in the freezer. It will again last you for 2 months. Okay, so this is about ginger, garlic, onion and potatoes. Okay, now let's talk about our favorites, that is the greens. Okay, now when we talk about dhania, pudina, methi, that is again which we all want to include in our diet, and that is anyways a major part of our Indian diet. So what you can do with dhania, it's very simple. So when you get a dhania, okay, do not wash it. You just need to remove that small band which is there, or that rope which is side. Open it up, dry it under the fan, because a lot of vendors, all the sabzi walas, they put a lot of water on it to keep them fresh. So we need to make sure it's dry. Then we check them nicely. Say if there's a black kind of a leaf or a yellow kind of leaf, just remove them. Okay, and take this paper towel and just wrap it up, and you are ready. Lock it nicely. And now you can either put this in a ziploc, or you can put it in an airtight container, and it will last you for 3 weeks. Okay, so about 21 to 26 days it will last you without getting spoiled. So you can make small lots of this, and whenever and however you want to use it, you can remove. Similarly, we can do this with our methi. Now I got this methi, okay, and I just cut its roots first, because they're usually very dirty and and they are very thick and they don't taste very well. So I just cut them off and then clean the methi leaves like these. Okay, they are small and tender leaves. I didn't wash them, because once you wash them, you have to make sure that they are dried well, and sometimes if they're not dried well, then they can get rotten. So you have to take this methi, select if there is any leaf which is yellow, remove that. Then again, just take this, simple. So this is what you can do with pudina. This is what I have done with pudina as well. Okay, this is green chili. So you can do it with pudina, you can do with dhania, you can do it with methi, and make this small packs. Use this methi whenever you're making your methi parantha or aloo methi, and you're ready with your methi. But make sure you wash it before you use. Okay. So here we go with our greens. Now about palak. Okay, what I did with palak is I blanched the palak. So I took the palak, cleaned it, washed it nicely in the running water, and then I boiled, that is I boiled the water. Once the water was boiled well, then I put the entire palak leaves into it and kept it for 2-3 minutes. Then rinsed it with cold water. Okay, that retains the color, and grind it in a mixer. So I got my palak puree, glass jar, airtight container. If I keep this in the freezer, it will last me for a month. Okay, so whenever you want to make your palak corn or palak paneer, take this out and you are ready with your palak. Okay, now let's talk about tomatoes. Again, tomatoes is an important part of our tadkas. We need it in our sabzis, and if you're making pasta for children, you need tomatoes. So what you can do with tomatoes is first select whichever are soft, remove them and use them immediately for the next 4-5 days. If there is any kind of, if they are spoiled like this, do not store it. It will not stay, it will rather spoil the rest of the lot. So have a clean, dry, first which we had washed, a clean dry tomato. Then what we need to do is remove the eye. Okay, so you can just take a knife and remove this eye. Okay, here I have removed it already, and give a cross to it. All ready to be stored for good 2 months. So what you need to do, put this out here in a ziploc. Okay. Now whenever you're storing these things in the ziploc, you have to make sure that there is no air. So whether it is your methi, palak, garlic or tomatoes, you have to make sure that when you're packing it up, there is no air. If there is any air, it will spoil the entire lot. So you just put your if you have about 10 or 12 tomatoes into this, put this in the freezer, and they are all ready. Now whenever you want to use it, just take it out. You already have a cut, you leave it for half an hour, you have already a cut. You want to blanch it, like you want to remove the peel, remove the peel. If you want to directly cut it and use it, you can directly cut it and use it in your curries. Okay, so these are about your tomatoes. You can also actually blanch the tomatoes, like again take a boiling water and put some salt and put tomato for a minute or 2, take it out, remove the skin. So once the skin is removed, you puree it and keep it in the freezer, and that will also last you for good about a month or 2. Okay, so now let's talk about our veggies. Now these are our carrot. Carrot is good in vitamin A, and if you put it in anything, whether it is your pulao or noodles or pasta or make a gajar matar simple, it's very handy. So what you need to do, as we had dipped this gajar, you scrape off, you peel off the gajar nicely, the carrot nicely, and then you dice it. Okay, you dice it into these small cubes. You can also make into thin slices if you want to. So you do that, and then again we are going to start with the process of blanching. So you take boiling water, put in a little salt to it, add in this carrot, keep it for about 2 minutes, and then take it off and rinse it off in a cold water. Put it in a channi, the jali channi that will help to drain off the extra water. Dry it under the fan, put it in a plate and dry it under the fan, and then immediately put it in a ziploc and keep it in a freezer. It will last you easily for 6 months. Okay, so you want to make your gajar matar or anything out of gajar, so your gajar is ready. Similarly, cauliflower, the similar process. What we did to the gajar, we chop it, we put it in the boiling salt water for about 2 to 3 minutes, take it out, rinse it in the cold water, and then dry it off. You have to make sure that the water is drained, it is dry a little, and then you can put it in the ziploc and put it in the freezer. Now earlier times, if you remember your grandmother or what, they would do another process of storing the vegetables for a longer time, that is sun drying. So you can also try that if you've been doing sun drying of cauliflower or sun drying of carrot. You can also try and do that, but it's a little longer process. Okay, another thing which I missed to tell you about methi. Okay, there is another way to store methi. So one I told you is in the greens, how we are storing it in a kitchen towel. Another thing what you can do with methi is something very interesting. Okay, try, it's really successful. You can take the methi leaves like how we had taken the small leaves, wash it off nicely, take about a tablespoon of oil in a big pan and saute the methi for about a minute or two. Okay, let the oil get coated on the methi. Take it out, dry it. Directly you can store it in a ziploc in a freezer now. Now when this methi, other methi which we had put in this kitchen towel, you could do for 2 to 3 weeks. This you can do up to 3 months. Okay, so it will not get spoiled. But you have to put it in the freezer, not in the fridge. And another way to do your kasturi methi, you must have seen your grandparents or grandmother drying the methi for 5, 6, 7, 10 days in the sun and then taking it off. So that is a little longer and little tedious method. So what you could do, take the methi leaves, wash them off nicely, dry them under the fan and then put it in an oven. So when I'm saying oven, not a microwave, an oven. So put it in a high temperature, about 200 degrees Celsius for 3 to 4 minutes. Take it out again, just toss it a little and again put it for 3 to 4 minutes. Once you take it out, you'll see that it's nice, dry and crispy, and you can just make a powder of it and use it as a kasturi methi in whatever dishes, in your aloo ki sabzi or however you like it. Okay, so that's about your methi. Now let's talk about your green chilies. Green chilies are richest source of vitamin C, we all know that, right? And lot of Indian people, they want green chili with their food. They like it in their dal, they like it in their sabzi, some people like it as a salad. So what you need to do with green chilies, if you want to store it for a longer time, for almost about a month, okay? First you have to select. So if there are these kind of spoiled chilies, just remove them off. This we cannot store. So you have to take fresh chilies and remove this stem. Okay, so remove this stem. Okay, remove this. So it's all set. Make sure we have not washed these chilies. Okay, so make sure again you keep it under the fan for some time, and then you have the kitchen towel again, wrap it up, and your chilies you can keep it in an airtight container or the ziploc and keep it in the fridge for good about 3 to 4 weeks. Nothing will happen to your chilies. Now let me talk about mutton. Now this mutton I had stored about in December. Okay, so there were a lot of peas in the market at that time. I got good quantity of peas, peeled them. After peeling them, I selected, like I just sorted if there was anything which was spoiled or which was showing a little discoloration, and I didn't blanch them. A lot of people blanch the peas and then dry it up and then store, how we did it for carrots and cauliflower. Here it is not required to do that. So you can just directly put it in a ziploc. As I am repeating it again and again, that make sure that there is no air into it. Okay, so put it in the ziploc and then store it in the refrigerator. That is your freezer, deep freezer. So we are storing this, that is your peas, carrot, cauliflower, in the freezer and not in the fridge. Okay, so just put it in the freezer. I removed it about an hour back. See, it's already thawed. I didn't have to do anything, and I can make my aloo matar or gajar matar, anything out of this. This can be stored for a good period of 6 months or sometimes even a year. So you can try this. It's really very handy when you have to cook. So this is how it goes for your matar. So I usually prefer that people should use fresh vegetables and whatever, because in India these things are ample available. But at this time, because we need to be safe, we should not move out much. So it's better that wherever we are going or whenever there is availability of vegetables and our greens, get them in bulk. Yes, it will take you about an hour or two to sort it out, but it's completely worth it. So you sort them out, put them nicely in a fridge or freezer, wherever you want to store, depending on what shelf life are you looking for, 6 months or 3 weeks, depending on that, and store this entire vegetable stock for good 21 days or 26 days, so that you don't have to move out again and again. And make sure what I told you about the hygiene is very important, to clean them up properly, dry them up. So do this process. Don't directly get them and put them in the refrigerators or on your kitchen top, because we don't know if this could be our source of infection. Okay, and my quick tip for today is These vegetables and fruits, they give us antioxidants, but sometimes it's not available. So what do? We can have a dose of antioxidant through simple thing. Yes, water. Water is an antioxidant. It flushes off, it removes the toxins from our body. Okay, so have a lot of water. And second, green tea. Again, green tea, I'm sure most of you must be having it in your house. It's an excellent antioxidant, and do that regularly and try your antioxidant through water and green tea. I hope you like the series. You are going to use few of the tips which I have given you, and increase the shelf life of the vegetables. Stay safe, stay healthy.